Varun Lokhap, director at CIMB, is joining us. He tracks the FMCG space closely. He's recently put out a report which says that CIMB maintains an underweight stance on consumer staples as earnings trajectory slowing and rich valuations limit the share price upside. Varun, thank you so much for taking time out talking to us. Ashutosh this side from the studios in Delhi. Let's talk about the report that you've put out, the underlying rationale behind maintaining an underweight stance on this sector, which perhaps is the only sector which has offered decent returns, which has been a sector where investors have managed to withstand the onslaught that the markets have thrown at them over the last couple of years now. What's the underlying rationale at this point of time?
So see, overall, if you look at our stance, underweight is also something which is more recent. So we know it's a long-term wealth creator sector, and it always remains a part of your portfolio. But it's a question of where we see the outlook over next 6 months and how the valuations are stacked up vis-a-vis that. If you look at our main concerns, first of all on top line, we believe the clear moderation that you're seeing out there. More so for companies which are more exposed to urban and on the discretionary side, and whereas the companies which are higher exposure to rural still remain relatively resilient. But nevertheless, if you take the aggregate sector growth, the top line growth, which was in high teens, has come down to early double digit or low teens clearly. So both volume growth as well as the price led growth is moderating across the board. Given the way volumes are behaving, companies are also hesitant to take very sharp price hikes. So one, clearly top line growth will see moderation. Secondly, if you look at the cost pressure, especially last 2 or 3 months, the way crude had moved up and way the currency depreciated for quite of these companies, especially the household and personal care and paints companies and all, you have raw materials which are linked to the international prices. So there is an inflation in their raw material basket, which will be difficult to pass on, which will take away some of your gross margin expansion which you are seeing over last 3 to 4 quarters. So if you juxtapose the two, then clearly your earning growth trajectory is coming down to more like 10 to 11% levels, which is what we are forecasting for say Q2 for our coverage universe, vis-a-vis 17-18% levels just 3 or 4 quarters back. And valuations are close to multi-year highs. So if you look at the two in combination, we believe there is very little absolute upside left on the stock.
Right.
So see, this is a sector where you may not see huge absolute price corrections given the quality of the companies, but your upsides will be very limited from these levels over the next 6 to 9 months.
Right. Varun, can you help us understand, you mentioned in the report that pressure will be felt more by HPC companies than food companies. So if you were to differentiate between these two categories, which are the stocks which fall under HPC and food category, and what kind of performance difference do you see, and where do you see and where do you recommend investors sell their positions in?
Yeah, so see, if you look at the companies like Britannia, where we expect that there will be a good gross as well as EBITDA margin expansion on a YOY basis in this quarter and going ahead. Similarly, Nestle and GSK Consumer, you may not see any margin contraction over the next few quarters because the raw material inflation is not running very high out there. Vis-a-vis that, so that's the basket where you see stronger sort of earnings growth compared to the other side, which is household and personal care, where you have companies like Unilever, which will see some margin pressure. On the paint side, Asian Paints will see muted earnings growth. Even within personal care, again you have to differentiate, like Dabur and Emami, we still believe will be able to hold on to their margins or still see slight margin expansion even in this environment given the sort of raw materials they use. So you have to go by company, but if I have to segregate, as I said, for this quarter and in the near term, Hindustan Unilever, Asian Paints, Colgate, these are the companies which will see margin pressures, whereas Britannia, Emami, Dabur and Nestle GSK will see relatively better margin performance.
So apart from that, as far as the overall dynamics are concerned of this sector, any other stock that you think has not really caught up to that extent as far as valuations are concerned, and still could be a preferred pick within the FMCG basket, or do you think the entire pack has moved up to very frothy valuations at this point of time?
No, so as far as the pure FMCG space goes, we see better value in some of the mid caps like Britannia, where we are still relatively positive, and we are seeing some upside even from current levels. Stocks like Emami, Dabur, Marico. So we are more positively inclined to some of these mid cap FMCG names compared to say your large caps like Unilever, Asian Paints, or even ITC for that matter, where we believe absolute upsides are limited. And in the non-FMCG space, but still, broadly consumer, non-discretionary portfolio, we continue to like United Spirits and Bata, which we have been liking for some time now.
Again, we have seen that investors, when they when they make their portfolio allocations, a substantial amount of money has been gone into the FMCG sector, and of course some of the preferred stocks like ITC, HUL command a significant weightage as far as the portfolio is concerned. If you were to advise any investor, how would you perhaps rate the FMCG portfolio allocation? Do you think that should come down drastically just to try and mitigate any risk which would get created because of such steep valuations?
Yeah, so overall, when we say underweight, what we mean is, the sector has now around 15% weight in the overall indices, which is your Nifty or Sensex. And when we say underweight, we would say that, one should be holding, say, maybe close to maximum 8 to 10% weight in the sector at this moment. And between the large caps, we prefer ITC over Hindustan Unilever if I have to look at the two biggest weight in the indices. So the weight in the sector should be probably a bit through ITC and balanced through some of these mid-cap names which we talked about along with United Spirits. So overall underweight on the sector and be in some of these select names, which is ITC among the large caps, because you can't have zero weight in ITC given the almost 10% weight in the indices. Right. And balance you should have in United Spirits and Bata and Britannia, Marico, Dabur.
Right. Varun, just one final question before I let you go. What's the one key factor or the one key trend that you'll be looking at as far as second quarter numbers are concerned from the likes of HUL, ITC, as far as the numbers, as far as the performance goes?
See, one is obviously, their commentary and what we see in terms of, the discretionary growth in urban areas. Are we starting to see bottoming out of that, or, any pick up in pockets on the discretionary spending side. Second is obviously very critical is rural growth, if there are any negative or positive surprises out there, because that has been the resilient part of demand, and which is the reason why the valuations are still holding up where they are. So what are the trends out there? And third would be, I think, margin pressures, gross margin pressures, as well as A&P. I think it will be a very interesting quarter to see how companies do on that part, because there has been a lot of volatility in the input prices, and given some of the issues with the broadcasters, I think even A&P spends need to be washed out, and especially the outlook on the same over the next few quarters.
Okay, all right, Varun. Thank you so much for joining us for that comprehensive analysis of the FMCG space. As always, pleasure having you with us. That's Varun Lokhab at CIMB talking about his stance on the FMCG basket and how would he position himself underweight at this point of time.